Doc McStuffins is a conspiracy, one about a girl who is alone, but with the powers of a god. Because at first glance, this is a simple Disney Junior show, but on a deeper look, it's horrifying. How is Doc McStuffins bringing life to plush toys, or hiding it all from her parents and everyone around her really, or most insanely, time traveling? I spent weeks researching all of this, and well, I think I have a theory. If you thought my Team and Wizumi video is crazy, then oh boy, are you gonna like this one. Let me explain. There is a prevailing theory that all of Doc McStuffins is fate. Whether a dream, or a coma, or just make-believe, it's one of the only things that people are okay with just saying the coma theory is good enough. But why? Well, I think it starts with the premise. Only Doc knows about her toys. We have no interactions between toys and other adults, other than Santa Claus. So yeah, the idea it's all fake makes sense. And if you look at the show, or more Doc, you can get a reason why. Her mom is a doctor, one who is always working and very rarely home, and while Doc takes after her mom as a child, striving to live in her shadow, playing pretend as her own doctor. But this is also because she's lonely. She doesn't have her mom in her life very often, and doesn't really have tons of friends, instead filling her life with her stuffed animals. Really, the toys being alive in the entire show could easily be seen as a coping mechanism, as lonely kids need friends, so her mind creates them. It isn't even that insane. Imaginary friends are normal for kids that age, especially when they have circumstances like hers. And well, that's my theory. The answer to Doc McStuffins is it's just not real, is what I was gonna say, until I saw the cracks. How exactly is her playhouse larger on the inside than the outside, or has running water and electrical wiring? Sure, we could be seeing through her eyes, but that doesn't work when we see through others. Because in actuality, I wasn't truthful before about there being zero interaction between the toys and adults, just not normal ones. See, while toys don't go around talking to your average Joe, they have been almost taught. For example, Doc's dad, a real-life character, reacts to the sound of a toy's voice, being confused on who it is. Now, at first I thought, well, maybe Doc is talking for her toys, but then the dad wouldn't be confused by the voice. No, it has to be a real separate voice from Doc, which means the toys have to be alive. But how? The Stethoscope. This is the tool Doc uses to bring life to a lifeless object, to heal a toy from any tear or illness, and its powers are magical. Now, of course you may be saying, of course they are, so what? But when I say magical, I mean reality warping magical. See, the toys it brings to life are fully fledged people with memories, personalities, and relationships. So when talking about the Stethoscope, we need to consider how powerful it really is, because oh boy, does that matter to our theory. Like I already said, Doc has the ability to heal the sick or fix the broken. Her powers, while only shown on toys, may extend past toys as well, which if so, would be insane. The concept of this stethoscope can bring anything to life, keep anything alive, and create actual matter since it's created stuffed limbs out of thin air, is so much power for Doc McStuffins. This girl is a top tier threat for any universe, since all she needs is her stethoscope, and you got an army of demon warrior teddy bears. But that aside, what else can it do? How does it explain the show? Well, time travel. See, I had a question throughout all of the show, being how did the parents not know about Doc? Originally, it was because there was nothing to know. It's all fate. But thanks to the episode Let the Nightingale Sing, we have a concrete ability that could solve it. In the episode, Doc is reading a book about a famous nurse of the past, and in seconds, her stethoscope based on Doc simply wishing she could meet the person, time travels her and her stuffed animals over 100 years in the past. This is a canon, mind-reading based ability that can travel her through all of time by simply wishing. So with this, who's to say she couldn't pause time or speed it up or anything? The girl is a time god, a reality warper. And that's the answer. Doc McStuffins has the power of a god and is warping reality based on her desires to fill her lonely life. And well, that means a lot for this show. Let me explain. Let's reframe this show with a new perspective, being that Doc is warping reality to her own whim, but not for no reason, because the core of all her problems and anguish is her mom. Not because she's evil or a bad mom, but because she is, by being a doctor, not home a lot. And that is very important for Doc, because it means her core is that of a lonely kid, but with the power she holds, a lonely god. One who wants to be like her mom. So she builds a clinic, calls herself a doctor, and creates literal life that she can fix when hurt. But how far reaching is her reality warping possibly going? Well, I think her name is a good starting point. Her real name is Dottie, but we don't call her that, nor do her literal parents. But to be honest, that's not crazy. She's obsessed with doctors and nurses and her actual mom, so her parents using a nickname is not that insane. But I do think the fact her name itself is so similar to that of a doctor, being Dottie, that you could say maybe she changed her own name. Not buying it? I get it, that's kinda a big reach. How about the toys? See, if you examine each toy, you will notice they are all extensions of Doc McStuffins' psyche, both in what she is, her flaws, and what she wants to be. Stuffy the dragon is someone who is by definition brave, and while Doc is very much not. She is characterized by being a very scared character who over the show must overcome certain fears and be brave. Now what if that trait of bravery, something she knows she lacks, was given to her stuffed dragon purposely to help her work through it? My theory here is that she uses her toys as real coping mechanisms by actually bringing to life her flaws, strengths, and desires. Another example here is Chili the Snowman. He's openly a coward, but still loved by his group, which lets him be safe and in return work through his own problems. This is literally what Doc does through the toys. You can keep going with this through Howie the Hippo being a decision maker and authority figure, something she wants to be like her mom, or Lammy the Lamb, who's an empathetic soft creature of kindness, which Doc also strives to be. No matter the toy, they all have some deeper meaning to exist that her brain uses to create them, because that's how her powers work. She warps reality to fit her desires and to help her cope with being a lonely kid. But that's not all, or at least not all she changed, because I think I have another example of Doc's reality warping caused by her sense of control, or need for it. Lammy as a character feels very attention-seeking, always guilt-tripping other characters. And while I think these are behaviors Doc has in herself that she puts on the toys, in obviously extreme ways. For example, Doc has a very hard time not doing exactly what she wants, like in the episode Big Head Howie, where Howie wants to watch a TV show. But Doc obviously doesn't, since that doesn't include her Grey's Anatomy-ass playtime. And for some reason, everyone in that episode suddenly starts treating Howie insane for wanting to do something Doc doesn't. I think this is an example of Doc's reality warping mental health affecting the literal life form she creates, but Howie still has agency to rebel and want her own thing, because deep down, Howie is just a version of Doc. But none of this is as crazy as what she does in season 4. Let me explain. Before I keep going into the insanity of the toy hospital, if you like this video so far, please subscribe for more theories. See, in this season, a new baby sister has arrived and emotions are very high. She wants the sister, is excited about it, but the minute she appears, Doc becomes worried, scared she'll lose more attention, terrified that this baby will ruin her life further. She doesn't hate her, she's just jealous of her. All she really wants is attention from a family member who gets her. And well, then suddenly her grandma appears. A woman who just happens to believe in toys being alive and is actually just like Doc. She's also a toy doctor who understands the magic of toys and, well, Doc. And she gives her a world, a separate pocket dimension filled with just a hospital for toys where she can escape. A place where her sister is not, where nobody but her and her coping mechanism live. A place where she can be the head doctor like her mom. Does this not seem like something Doc would create from her reality warping? A dream she brought to life? It has to be. But is it just the hospital? Well, no. The entire existence of this grandmother is too perfect, which is why I believe Doc created her grandmother as a perfect version of a family member who understands her. Whether she warped her original to be ideal or created a woman out of thin air and brought her into life, this woman is that of Doc's imagination. But with all that, I have one more question. What about her parents? With her running off in this hospital world, they have to notice, so why haven't they? Well, simple. Time doesn't pass there, and you could go in and come out at the same exact time. It's what the show tells us. Until it proves that wrong. Multiple episodes, she goes in and comes out at a different day or minute later, maybe an hour or sometimes seconds, but still something. And every time it's an inconsistent length that I can't turn into anything because it's random. Except it's not, because everything is perfect. It's just the right amount of time for Doc to not get caught, because Doc is controlling time itself. She's warping her world and in return can control the literal flow of it in her pocket dimension. Oh my god. Because this is the Doc McStuffins theory. A story about a girl who has the powers of a god but is lonely, and that grief has constructed a false reality she has brought to life, and now with some time control powers, she'll live it out for eternity. If you like this theory, click on this one right here or the playlist of my best. Either way, bye.